Ani, Adele Loosemore, Dishnakas, Shebahonaning and Danshapa. Hello, my name is Adele Loosemore and I'm a Treaty Indian from Shebahonaning. My community is at the entrance to the North Channel of Georgian Bay, in the Robinson-Huron Treaty area. My community is more widely known as Killarney, Ontario. In this video, I'm looking at the kinship ties between Northern Lake Superior and Sault Ste. Marie, Killarney, and Georgian Bay. They are all part of MNO's Great Lakes Regional Historic Métis Community. In their fact sheet about the regional community, MNO refers to the Supreme Court's Powley decision, remarks made by the Ontario Court of Appeal, excerpts from Ontario legislation and a self-government agreement with Canada, and there's also a quote from the 1996 Royal Commission on Aboriginal Peoples. All leading up to a list of the individual historic Métis communities that MNO includes in this giant regional HMC: Georgian Bay, Killarney, Sault Ste. Marie, and Northern Lake Superior. The map they included shows only the rough boundaries of MNO's regional community. MNO says that they are rights-bearing, interrelated Métis communities. So let's take a look at the kinship connections among them. But first, a brief reminder about Métis Aboriginal rights. They were actually one large community of interrelated families who established Métis Aboriginal rights across that whole territory that is outlined in red on MNO's map. This information is from First Peoples Law. If you want to see more, there's a link to their website in the description box below this video. They say that many people with Indigenous ancestors don't understand that to have Métis rights under the Constitution, they have to trace their ancestry to a specific, local Métis community that existed when the Crown began to exercise effective control in that part of Canada. The date that the Crown took control over the area can be different for different communities, but it's the historic Métis communities that existed before that date that established the Métis Aboriginal rights that people continue to exercise today. MNO says the date of effective control for Northern Lake Superior is 1850 to 1880. In this video, I'm using the date 1880. Here's a list of all the families that MNO says were part of the Great Lakes Regional Historic Métis Community. There are a total of 69 families listed here. You might have noticed that there's a Pritchard Solomon family in the Northern Lake Superior community. But MNO notes that they have no data to connect that family with the Solomon family in Sault Ste. Marie, Killarney, or Georgian Bay. The lists are based on the Métis root ancestor documents that MNO made available to the public for several years. Those files were removed from public view after more and more questions were raised about MNO's credibility. In each of MNO's verified Métis family documents, there's a diagram that shows how that family is connected to other families in the same or other Métis communities, through, for example, marriage, godparenting, etc. Each of those colors on the diagram represents a family. Details about each connection can be found in a different part of each family document. Here's the first part of a table that I put together to show what MNO says about the kinship connections between Northern Lake Superior and the 3 other communities. The first family in the list is Bouchard. The kinship connection chart is on page 10 of MNO's Bouchard family document, number FL 2006. MNO says that someone in the Bouchard family is connected to someone in the Cadieux-Evans family. The Cadieux-Evans family is part of the Georgian Bay Historic Métis community. The connection is the witnessing of a wedding. And that wedding took place in 1924. There's a footnote for each connection that provides details about the people involved. Here are the rest of the Northern Lake Superior families and MNO's data for their kinship connections. This table shows all the families of Northern Lake Superior, with the connections but without the details that were in the footnotes. Out of the 16 verified Métis families in Northern Lake Superior, 11 of them, shown in this table, have no kinship connection to the families in Sault Ste. Marie, Killarney, or Georgian Bay. That's 69% of Northern Lake Superior's families. Only 5 families have a kinship connection to a family in one of the other Great Lakes communities. And that includes family number 1, Bouchard, number 4, Colin, number 7, Dick, number 10, Louis, and number 15, Shallon. Look at the year that each of these kinship connections took place. Only one kinship event happened before the date of effective control. Around 1874, Mary Louis of Northern Lake Superior married a man named Louis Cadieux of the Georgian Bay Historic Métis community. MNO doesn't provide a marriage date, but they note that the children were born between 1875 and 1893. So I estimated a marriage date of 1874. It really doesn't matter. It's the only connection. In their fact sheet, MNO claims that their 4 historic Métis communities were interrelated. But MNO's data show that before 1880, there were virtually no kinship connections between families in Northern Lake Superior and those in Sault Ste. Marie, Killarney, and Georgian Bay.